let's talk about sour strips. Okay,
Oh,
so I remember the video you did where you said something about I'm investing or $50,000 or something of that effect, right? And
yep.
see, and so I said, I was thinking, I'm like, what is he doing? Talk about being in the candy business. Why did you get into that? And talk a little bit about that because that is very different than the apparel. And then we're going to talk a little bit about which business is more profitable, which
Yeah.
one has the ability to grow and scale faster. And because I also saw a video that you did where you hit some, I think it was a target number of bags, 1 millionth bag or something of that.
We've surpassed that by a lot now. We'll get to that one. We'll go back to the beginning.
Okay.
I so I've been a diehard sour candy fan. Like it's hard for me to even describe how much I love candy. If you were to ask my entire family member, if my dad was here, he could tell you I've just been obsessed with candy and sugar my entire life. And I have, not even exaggerating, probably since I was 10 years old, even to this day, every gas station, every convenience store, I have walked down every candy aisle at every store I've ever been in every time I go because I'm just obsessed with it. I've always am eating sour candy. So I've seen everything, right? And I got really motivated by my friend Christian, who started an energy drink company with a consumable. I was like, this is something that people are going to, consume and then repurchase. So not only is it a good business idea, for me, I was like, why does all sour candy suck? That was my big thought. And also, I was like, all the branding is so old school because these companies they're huge conglomerates, but they've been around for ages, and they don't really need to do wild innovation in marketing because they have the awareness, right? You don't need to tell anyone what Haribo gummy bears are. They just know what they are. Charlie gummy worms, and so I remember it was 2017 or 18. I told like my mom, I was like, I'm gonna start a candy company, and I think I can really do it. And I started actually with two partners at the time, and because I didn't think I could do everything myself, even though I'd done it for clothing, but I was like, I need partners because I can't do the business of distribution and all that. Like I need people to do all that for me. I just want to be the face of the brand. And for probably 6 or 7 months, we kept hitting roadblocks and trying to find manufacturers and getting samples and working with different co-packers. And I knew exactly what the product needed to taste like and feel like and the experience, because I knew what I hated with candy, whether it be super sticky in the bag and it's all wet, or it's all stuck together, or it's not sour when it says it's sour, or the branding is made for like little kids. And then we hit a bunch of roadblocks, and I actually almost like shut down the idea because I was like, maybe this is why people don't create candy brands, because it's just so difficult to start. And so then about 6 months went by, and it wasn't until I moved to Texas that I was like, I can do this. I can create this brand. And I finally found a manufacturer that had a product that was amazing. And I developed a relationship. I found a co-packer, and then I started on the branding. And then I remember sitting in the office where I was trying to think up a name because I was like, okay, I found the candy. Now what's the name going to be? And I thought up the sour strips, and I was like, it's so simple, right? It's such a simple name. And I realized that there had been other sour strips, but the idea behind the name was it's a descriptive name, right? So really anyone could create a sour strips, but what's been done was it's always been like the company, and then like the candy is just sour strips of candy,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, what if you kind of reverse that and I always compare it to like a Kellogg's, where if I was like, hey, Aaron, pick me up some Frosted Flakes, exactly that I want Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, even though there can be Frosted Flakes of any brand because it's literally describing what the product is. But if you brought that back, I'd be like, no, 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 I wanted Frosted Flakes. And I was like, what if I did that with candy and just created this super simple, catchy name, Sour Strips, and made that so that everyone wants Sour Strips, the brand. And then I went on Instagram, and no one had Sour Strips on Instagram. Blew my mind. I went
What
to
about the
GoDaddy.
domain? Yeah,
Oh,
it
no
was
one had it.
nah.
No one had it. And what's wild is GoDaddy had, I guess, decided that it was a premium name, so it was like $250 instead of the $2 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But no one had the domain, no one had the Instagram, and I was like, this is it. And then Actual Candy is the parent company name. I was like, okay, let me call it that in case I ever do something besides sour strips. And the reason behind actual candy is because my thought was always like, why can't any brand make actual sour candy? And then actual candy came, and no one had actual
Yeah.
candy. No one had actualcandy.com. And then the rest is kind of history. And it did the hype thing, and here we are.
And so talk a little bit about where you are with it.
So I launched the brand. I like to think I did a somewhat flawless execution with the rollout, and that's what created this growth trajectory. I launched it on my 30th birthday, September of 2019, and I hyped it up for so long. I got this list of like 200 influencers where I was like, okay, I'm gonna send you a box. It's a secret project. And I kept typing it up, and I was like, don't open it. I want your reaction. And I made this whole video, and then I launched it. We had 20,000 units on launch, we had 3 flavors, or 21,000. So we had 7,000 bags of each, and we sold out in like an hour. And what's funny is when I launched it, I told myself, I was like, this has to sell out in the first day, or it's not going to work. Like it has to have that demand. And it did, because I almost like was begging people. I was like, hey, this is my 30th birthday. I told people what the price was going to be before I even told them the project. I said it was $20 for the product, to $20 for the packet, for the bundle you got, and $5 shipping at the time. So I was like, it's $25. I'm not telling you what it is, but I was like, on my birthday, I need all of y'all. If you've ever watched any of my videos, this is where I want your support. $25. Like, I'm asking you to buy something. We need to blow this out of the water. And my goal with it was, I was like, direct to consumer candy online is not like, that's not a thing people do.
It's not a thing.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Sure.
So that was never the long-term plan. I was like, I just need to grow the brand online to be able to roll it into retail. So we started September 2019. So we've been going for about a year and a half now, almost 2 years. And I wish I could tell you, we've moved, I want to say, close to 3 million bags.
Wow.
Maybe definitely over 2 million. Absolutely. Maybe even 3. I should probably know this number, but basically the whole first year was a very huge success with online and direct consumer and building the brand and building the awareness. And my model with it is, even to this day, we send out probably 20 boxes, these little influencer boxes, 20 boxes a day, which is filled with like 12 bags for free to 20 new influencers every single day. Every single day, we're sending out 20 boxes easily. And we could even send out more, but we've kind of throttled it. But every day for the past year and a half, I've sent out to 20 to 30 per day new influencers. And I'm like, my mission is get this product, flood the world with it, give it away for free, give it to every influencer under the sun, anyone who has any sort of following, give it to them, and just get the brand out there. And now
it's in retail.
Yeah. And it was super exciting when we first got into our first couple gas stations, and slowly but surely. And then really the biggest thing that happened in retail was when HEB reached out to us in like maybe like actually right around September. They reached out to us, and HEB is for those who don't know, is a very popular grocery chain in Texas. They have about 300 locations. And when they reached out, I was like, it's happening. This is like a big deal. And what's interesting is when they set it all up, they were interested, whatever. And then after we were in their system, I thought we would just get into the stores, but the buyer was like, no, now you're in the system. Now you need to go get the stores to want to buy your product. So I went into like 5 or 6. I put on an ever forward, actually, little Henley. And I went into the store with the box, like with a little pamphlet, and went into the managers. I was like, hey, we're in your system. I'd like to tell you more about this product. I think it would do really well, blah, blah, blah. And I literally was selling to these managers myself. And I drove to 5. We got into like 3 right out of the gate. And then it just started exploding. And then HEB has been a huge success for us to show that it can, because I was worried when I went into retail that I knew that if I was like, hey, following, hey guys, it's at this gas station, it's at this. And I knew that I could immediately sell out a product, but I was like, will it continue to sell after it sells out? Because I can impress you in the first 24 hours, but it kept selling, and it kept doing so well. And then what happened in October, actually the same day, it was right before Halloween, Walmart and Target both emailed me within like an hour of each other. It was super wild. and they were both interested in bringing us in. And this is how I've learned about consumer packaged goods into retail is they reach out to me in October to bring me in around June or July. That's how
Yeah.
long it takes from like when they reach to you to when it actually goes into stores. And we're actually rolling out into 200 Walmarts probably this month. The product's already at the distribution center, and we roll out into Target actually said they wanted to put us in 300 stores as a test, which I was already like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then we did one store because they directly ordered it, and it did so well that at that store. And then the candy buyer is such a believer in social media that it went from 300 stores for the initial rollout, which is going to be in June, to 1,300, which is
Wow.
77% of targets. Like it's been wild. And now, and my biggest thing was like now it becomes a real brand. Now I'm not only am I taking shelf space from these other brands,
Yeah.
is it's becoming a real thing. The online was the play to be able to turn it into a
The real
real,
thing.
yeah.